Examining Report ID 2026. Examining Report.
Hey, once again, I'm Marcus Hart. Welcome to the Urban News Journal, where we are independent, objective, and unafraid. We cover the stories that most other people will not cover it in the fashion that they just can't do it because they boxed in, they stuck, man. They stuck like Chuck. So we don't worry about them people, and I'm going to give it to you straight. So, let's hold on to our very last bottom of our shoes. I'll just be saying stuff. You okay? How you guys doing? Tell me where you're from. If you are in live right now, and you see the chat, do me a favor. Do me a quick solid. Drop, what you're feeling in the at the moment, and maybe tell me where you're from. Tell me, what you got going on. Me personally, it's a Saturday. I normally don't do this on a Saturday, but because I love you guys so much, I made a conscious decision to make sure that I make up for, all of the lost, things that you guys can get a chance to, do. So drop where you from in the comment section, and I would acknowledge you. Welcome once again. I'm Marcus Hart, the Urban News Journal. So before I go, one more sentence. If you are brand new here, hit the subscribe button right now on the Urban News Journal because we do this live 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with the exception of today, breaking down exactly what's trending and what is actually, is happening in the world and what it means for you. And if you already subscribed, do me a favor and drop where you're watching from again in the chat right now. I see we got a couple of people in the house from Milwaukee. Welcome, Milwaukee people. Oak Creek, cool. Good to see you, Oak Creek. Good to see you, LA. Oh my God. Okay, we got people all over the map here. Oh, Bangkok. Bangkok. Let's get it, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped up, man. Saturdays I usually am a little bit more hyper. So maybe we might switch to Saturdays. Who knows? Who knows? We don't know, but I do know this. Fauci. Ouchie Fauci was what some people call him. Ouchie Fauci. Ooh wee. Have you heard about this story? So here's what happened, right? Here's exactly what happened. It was about Thursday or so. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee voted. They voted along party lines, 8-5, to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. And if you saw the headline and scroll past it, I need you to stop and actually sit with this one because this is actually bigger than one man in one hearing room. It's much, much bigger than that. I tell you, it's much, much bigger than that. And once again, if you are joining, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment. All right. So Fauci, he was in front of that committee answering, or more accurately speaking, not answering questions about the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic and the government's response to it. And man, if you remember that time, if you, oh my God, that was, oh, COVID was just, oh my God. I don't even want to go into it because I I got nightmares and trauma from COVID. Even though I was never one of the, many that was affected. I never tested positive for COVID. I'm knock on wood. I'm one of the fortunate ones. And and the crazy thing is, I exposed myself a lot to a lot of people who had it and never caught it. It was just one of those things for me. But anyways, so he's in the committee hearing, right? Doing what he's doing. And when they pushed him, he simply invoked his Fifth Amendment right over and over and over again. Now, here's the part that should stop you in your tracks, though. In his opening remarks, Fauci said straight up that he believed the questions were being asked so Republicans could try to persecute him later on. Think about that. Think about that for a moment, right? So he has some reasonable suspicion. Hmm. Hmm. So the man who stood behind that podium for years, right? You remember when he used to get up there and he'd talk, he'd do his thing? He was telling an entire country what to do with their bodies, what to do with their businesses, what to do with their children's schools. And now he's on the record saying he's afraid to answer honestly because he could possibly get charged with a crime. Make it make sense. Can somebody please make it make sense? So you spent all them years telling us what to do because you knew what was best for us, right? But now all of a sudden, when the spotlight is on you, somebody instructing you to do something, you don't want to answer in an honest way because you scared. You scarred. You scarred, you might get locked up, put in one of them orange jumpsuits and fed Nutriloaf all day. For anybody who knows what Nutriloaf is. But I want you to remember something too. President Biden already gave Fauci what they called a preemptive pardon. Preemptive pardon. And that was supposed to cover his conduct from 2020 or 2014 through January 2025. A pardon for something that hasn't even been proven to be a crime yet. Hmm. 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 That's not how this works. Okay. I want you to think about what that tells you. You don't pardon somebody in advance for nothing. Okay. Unless there's something. I mean, there's probably was something. I mean, if we're still talking about it to this day, it could have been something. You know, that's an insurance policy, what he was given. And somebody decided Fauci needed one before he ever walked into a courtroom. Who was that? And some would say that was auto pen Biden, or was it Biden, or could it been Fauci's lawyer talking to Biden, or talking to the auto pen? This is crazy. I can't explain the confusion I have about all of it. You know, I'm confused, but I'm not confused. Okay, what I'm going, I'll tell you what I'm not confused about in a minute. We'll get to that. And once again, if you're tuning in live and this is your first time watching us, do me a solid, like the stream, drop a comment where you're from, and once again, if you don't know me, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal, independent, objective, unafraid, and we're covering Fauci at the moment, and we get into other stories as this stream continue on. So, Republicans on that committee, led by your very own Senator Rand Paul, they aren't even bothering to send this to a full Senate vote. What they're doing, they're sending the contempt recommendation straight to the Justice Department. Now, that is a statement in itself. They're not trying to win a political fight on the floor no more. They said, forget about that. That ain't working. Okay? And what they're trying to trigger is an actual federal process. If you had them lawyers in the house, you might need them now, sonny. So, and that's a different level of seriousness than the usual congressional theater that we are all accustomed and used to seeing. And so many folks have already murmured before all of this, led up to where we at now. It's like, oh, there nobody's going to be held accountable for COVID. Oh, uh, government, is off there. It's all WWE and laughs and giggles. But this is different. So here's my whole read about it. Here's what I think, and here's what I want to, give you. And I want you to push back on me too in the chat if you see it totally different. That's okay. We can disagree to agree or agree to disagree. how the saying go. So push back on me because for years this became a story about trust the science, trust the science, don't question the science versus question everything. And both sides used it as a weapon. Do you remember that? Do you remember how they had the whole entire country just split over this one issue? That's when the division was becoming at an all-time high. If you wasn't rocking with whatever Fauci said or wearing a mask, you were demonized. And once again, shout out to everybody who's watching. I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal. We're covering Anthony Fauci right now. You know how the Senate committee voted to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress. And if you do me a solid drop where you're from in the comment section, I want to acknowledge you. But anywho, we was divided as a country over masks, over keeping our distance from the people. We couldn't go visit our family members in the hospitals. If someone is having a baby, you couldn't be in the room with. I mean, it was bananas. Kids on tablets and laptops, and parents don't know what the hell they're doing. But it was crazy, man. What a crazy time. But if you strip the politics away for 1 second, I mean just one little second, when any political or public official, doesn't matter which party, doesn't matter what agency, starts pleading the fifth, instead of explaining decisions that affected 330 million people's lives, and a lot of those lives were lost. That's not a partisan issue anymore. No, it's not. Okay, for anybody who think it is, it's not a partisan issue. This is not something we should be divided on or confused about. But instead, we should acknowledge this properly as an accountability issue. And accountability shouldn't have a party attached to it. Okay, this is not about masks. This is not about mega. This is about our country and getting the answers we so much deserve about why we were forced to do something when most of us just went along with it, and others of us, we wanted to question, we wanted to know why. So here's the real question, and I want to leave you with this before we move on to the next segment. Is this actually about justice, or is this about political theater 4 years after the fact? When it's convenient, it's convenient, right? It seems so convenient. So I got my thoughts, but I want to hear it from you first. Let me, chat. If you in there, I already see some of you tapping on some of the other platforms, and that's good. Keep it up because this is exactly the conversation I want to have live. Let's open it up. Once again, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal. I got my hoodie on today because it's cold as heck in my room, and it's a Saturday. So why not lay your hair down and just feel all right? Okay. All right, so I'm seeing some strong opinions in some of these other platforms. I don't see nothing in YouTube. That's okay. We keep on rolling. And I appreciate every one of you guys willing to actually say what you think instead of hiding behind a like button. And if you haven't already, do like the live stream. That does help push the algorithm to do its job. And I want to switch gears completely here because our next story is not about politics at all. It's actually about what's working in this country right now, what's actually working. And it's not a box office number. Oh, hold on. Actually, it is a box office number. It's a box office number that shocked even people who made the movie. Can you believe that one? So, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. If you haven't seen it by now, go ahead and see it because it's worth the price of admission. Uh, and so Spider-Man: Brand New Day. just pulled in $360 million in its domestic opening weekend. And that, my friend, is not just a good number. That is the biggest opening weekend in the history of movies. Full stop. Let that sink in for a second. In an era where everybody, and I mean everybody, has told you theaters are dying, streaming killed the box office, nobody wants to leave the house anymore. Spider-Man, the movie, just proved every single one of those predictions wrong in one weekend. And again, it was a wonderful movie, and I'm not gonna drop any spoilers. Maybe I'll do that on the next stream because if you haven't seen it by now, you don't deserve you don't absolutely deserve to have the luxury of not hearing spoilers. So next stream, I'm definitely going to drop them spoilers because man, I enjoyed the movie. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Avengers Doomsday. They already talking about making Spider-Man 5. So it's great to be a Marvel fan and a Spider-Man fan. And here's why I think that matters beyond Hollywood. People are starving for something to root for. We just spent the last segment talking about contempt of Congress, government distrust, institutions falling apart right in front of us. And then on a Friday night, going into Saturday, we are in Saturday right now, hundreds of thousands of families still got dressed. They drove to the theater, bought the overpriced popcorn, and sat next to the strangers to watch a kid from Queens save the day. Family, that's not just entertainment. And for those who join in, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal. We're covering the Spider-Man Brand New Day breaking domestic opening weekend. So again, that's not all about entertainment. People going spending their money. That's people voting with their wallets for hope. Okay, unlike what some of these politicians expecting us to do. Okay. I also think there's a lesson in here for anybody watching who's building something right now. As my phone rang. Okay. As my phone rang. It's my dad actually. I wonder if I should take this. I'm gonna take this. Hold on. Hey dad, you on my live stream. You on my live stream.
What is that?
I'm streaming live on YouTube and Facebook and a couple other places doing the show.
Are you doing a show?
Uh-huh.
Like coming out to the Rackham house?
We actually having Angela's party she having a party here at the house for Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You're having a party here?
Yes. Well, we got a pool. Um, so it's gonna be a pool party. Here, here. Yeah, I know.
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Cheers, Tim.
So as you can see in the background, my daughter and my father having a conversation. Daughter walks out, and back to what we were talking about. So Spider-Man, man, there's a lesson in here for anybody watching who's building something right now. If you're building a business, a platform, a ministry, or a brand, Spider-Man didn't win this weekend because it was safe. It won because it gave people something they could believe in for 2 hours. Whatever you're building, ask yourself this. Are you giving people something to believe in? Or are you just giving them content? Okay? And we can talk about the timing for a second. This drops the same week. The news cycle is drowning over Fauci. Wildfires out in Eastern Washington, conflict overseas in Hollywood. And hello?
Yeah.
So how long y'all gonna be there?
I'll be here for a minute.
Okay. Um What?
Shooting. Going on some stuff.
Okay, well, depending on what time we done here, we probably come out there. Okay, then.
Alright, let's just Monty and me. Monty read Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just going to go for them. Party thing. Yeah.
Okay. All
All right, I'll talk to you after a while.
right. Talk to you later. All right. Love you, Dad.
Good.
All right. So as you can see, I am a normal person. I am a real person. I'm not a bot. I'm actually a real person, and with real life going on. At the time of this recording, we're live stream. It's not recorded. So I do have a pool party happening at my house for my daughter, and then also happening simultaneously to that is like my little brother's one brother is going off to college, and then I have a little brother who's celebrating his ninth ninth birthday. He's turning 9 today. That's crazy, right? I got a little siblings. Anybody out there got little siblings like I do? You got siblings that's way younger than you. Like it's just like your father decided to start a whole nother generation. Yeah. So that's totally off script, and I left my phone line open today because like I know family and other people gonna be calling in, so it's okay to take a break and stand live is with like some real thing, you guys to know that like I'm actually a human being and I'm just not put up here as a plant for any party, or for any corporation. I'm independent, baby. Independent, objective, and unafraid. This is the Urban News Journal. So back to what I'm saying. Okay, we got Fauci in the news. We got wildfires in eastern Washington in the news. We got conflict overseas, and then Hollywood hands people an escape route, and they ran through it in record numbers. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's a real good signal. Okay, a real good signal. So I want to know from you, did you go see Spider-Man Brand New Day this weekend, or are you planning to see it this weekend? Or are you one of the people waiting for it to hit streaming? Drop what you think in the chat right now because I'm watching. I would like to react to your comments live. And real quick, before we head into our next story, we are almost exactly at the halfway point of today's show. And if this conversation is doing anything for you, the way you pay me back is totally free. You don't have to give me no money. You don't have to cash out none of that. And at the moment, right now on YouTube, I'm not able to receive super chat because my channel's not monetized yet. But what you can do to help me out is to hit that subscribe button on the Urban News Journal right now and go follow us on other platforms too because we are posting clips from this exact stream all week long. All right, let's bring it home to Milwaukee one time. So in my hometown of Milwaukee, the Wisconsin's governor race and our very own Milwaukee County executive is on the ballot. We talked about him on the last stream about, how he has to, answer some tough questions about why Milwaukee County is in the state it is, okay, and why certain things happen that is just not being addressed. Okay, why isn't any of the news outlets asking this guy like, hey, why is MCTS coming up short on cash? Why is there, budget problems in Milwaukee County? Why are some parts still looking the way it is? Why are the roads looking the way it is? So I want to zoom in on something that's actually happening, and I guarantee most of the people watching the stream haven't heard a word about it. So the Wisconsin Democrat primary for governor is coming Tuesday. That's Tuesday, folks. August 11, just days away. And here's the local hook. As I was just talking about him, one of the leading candidates, Milwaukee County Executive, David Crowley. Let me be clear on the actual mechanics here, because I don't want you to get this wrong. David Crowley is not up for re-election as county executive right now. He's running a completely different seat for governor of the state of Wisconsin. So while he's still sitting as county executive at the same time, too, at the same time. So this is a real competitive Democrat primary, some may say, because we have Francisca Hong, a Democrat socialist and 3-term state assembly member, She's actually being considered as the front runner. As you can see down here in the corner right here, she's leading the polls with 44%, with Crowley following behind her with 22%, and we got Roy's 11%, and Barnes, who dropped out, he's still sitting at 6% as a hopeful. Even though he dropped out, and that's another story in itself. So Crowley, he's polling second, obviously, and he got a huge full endorsement from the current sitting governor, Tony Evers, who's on the way out. And that happened briefly when he decided to step out of the race. So Crowley stepped out of the race. This is crazy. This is how Wisconsin politics is weird right now. So this guy, he jumped out of the race, and then when Evers said, "Hey, I want to endorse you instead," he jumped right back in. Isn't that wild? Like, I'm still baffled by it. I'm still trying to figure out what's the hidden agenda in all of this. What's really happening behind the scenes? Because that don't make any sense. And then we have another candidate, Medela Barnes, who used to be lieutenant governor under Evers drop out. You would think that endorsement would have went to Barnes, right? So something is kind of screwy happening in the Democrat Party in Wisconsin. I don't know what it is. But then we got Joel Brennan, who's only polling at 5% currently right now, and then kinda Roy's also is on the ballot. She's at 11%, like I just said. She's following in third right now, and then we got 90% of the people who are still undecided. Okay, and then the other candidates who suspended their campaigns, they still going to be listed on the ballots. So be on the lookout for that when you go into the polling room to make your decision. Okay. So whoever wins this Tuesday goes on to face Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany in November. Here's why I'm stopping to talk about this instead of just the top line national story. So when a hometown official, somebody who's been making decisions about our parks, our transit system, our public safety right here in Milwaukee County, steps up to run the entire state, that's worth paying attention to on his own merits. And it's not because he's our guy. We're rolling with him. We are with him, and then we owe him a vote. Like I see so many people in Wisconsin, specifically in Milwaukee, doing right now. They just, he's our guy. He's our Milwaukee guy, so we roll with him. Why? Why? Have you not seen this guy's record? You should really actually know what his record is before Tuesday. The same way you want to know about any candidate's record. And as I say this plainly, and I mean absolutely plainly, I watched this pattern my whole life in Black and brown communities. We'll have passionate debates about a Senate hearing that's 1,000 miles away. And then when a statewide primary comes up that decides who runs Wisconsin's budget, its schools, its economic policy, which happens with a fraction of the turnout it deserves. We get people not even turning out. And that's not an accident because everybody that's in this race right now is hoping that less attention happens. And anyone who races in these type of races, they're hoping that no attention is, put on what's going on. Because the easier they are to decide it without us. They don't need us then. As us as a people, they don't need us. So we really, really have to care a little bit more about local politics. So if you anywhere in Wisconsin watching this right now, I need you to do one thing before Tuesday. Know who's actually on the primary ballot. Look at Crowley's record running Milwaukee County. Look at what Hung, Brennan, and Roy's are actually proposing. Don't vote off of name recognition. Don't be the person who wants to be the flunky for these people. And, because they're popular and known people, that we're just going to vote for them. Don't do that. But instead, vote off the record. That's what you can do. That's what you absolutely can do and should do. I can't make you do anything, but for whatever reason, or another, these people can have you jumping cartwheels for them without even telling you, what their plans is, specifically to help you and to serve you. And it's sickening. It's real sickening. It's so disgusting, man, that these people just get away with murder. They get away. I mean, some may say that like a lot of these politicians has actually gotten away with real murder or rape. Oh, let me correct that. Grape. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, but I concur. I concur. So if you are in Wisconsin, drop WI in the chat right now so I can see how many of us are actually watching from here. And if you're watching from outside the state, tell me, is there a statewide or local race in your area right now that nobody is talking about? Because I promise you, there is one. There is one happening. Whether you know it or not, you might want to just, lock yourself in a little bit more. Okay. And once again, I'm Marcus Hart. This is the Urban News Journal, independent, objective, unafraid. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button for us. Share this to someone who needs to see it, and drop a comment. Tell me where you from, where what you think about all of this stuff. If you've been tracking it, so let's close out our topics today with something a little bit more lighter, okay? But still worth talking about because sports tells you a lot about how people handle change. And this week, the NFL is giving us a master class. Stefon Diggs is reportedly ready to sign with the Washington Commanders. A receiver of his caliber, still finding a new home this deep into the calendar. It tells you something about how differently front offices are valuing older skill position players right now compared to 5 years ago. I find that very impressive. Very impressive. And then you got Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, a man who hasn't played a snap in the league since 2023, showing up and working out for the Rams this week. I mean, we got all the old guys coming back. we pulling these guys straight out of the retirement home. Oh man, that's crazy. So not Aaron Rodgers. We talked about Aaron Rodgers on a previous live stream. Go check that out. But Aaron Donald. So he is, by a lot of people's measures, one of the greatest defensive linemen who ever played this game. And here he is, still putting in the work, still testing whether or not there's another chapter left in him. Is there some gas in the tank? These old guys, man, we got classics. People rolling. They literally rolling. They roll into the training camp like, hey, I'm here. Oh man. But I bring that up for a reason though. I bring it up because I think there's something for every one of us um in that, okay? Whatever retirement you put yourself in, whether it's a career you gave up on, a dream you put on the shelf, or a relationship you wrote off. Aaron Donald showing up for that workout is a reminder that just because you stepped away doesn't mean the door is closed forever. Okay, especially in relationships, people always find themselves looping back, spinning the block as they call it, you know. But sometimes, like Aaron Donald, you just got to show up and see if you still got it. Okay. Meanwhile, down in New Orleans, we got the Travis kid, Travis Etienne, if I'm saying it right, Etienne. Oh, yeah, that sounds right. Or Etet. I don't know. This guy's name is real hard to say. I just know Travis. I just know about Travis. Good old Travis. So he's taking the early down reps with Alvin Kamara, handling passing situations. So that backfield battle is one to watch all camp. And in Detroit, not far from here, running back David Gibbs is holding in. He's waiting on a new deal, but the word out of the building is optimism that gets resolved this week. So he should get his money, you know. So I'm rooting for him to get his money. I like to see people get their money. So I do hope, Gibbs, get his money. So, all right, sports fans, Commander fans, are you fired up about Diggs? Rams fans, Ram fans, do you actually want Aaron Donald back on that roster? Let me hear it. Let me know what you think in the chat. Okay, and this is your final moment to say what you want to say and get it off your chest. Otherwise, when this live stream is over with, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know, if it was something that you disagree with or agree with, or you just want to cut the fan. You can also do that by checking me out via email too. You can send an email. I get a lot of people after the live stream send me emails privately. And if you want to, got a particular story you want me to cover, whatever it may be, but you can do that by writing me at that's PRES at marcus-hart.com. That's marcus-hart.com. Press at marcus-hart.com. All right. All right. So that's everything, folks. That's everything we came here to break down today on a beautiful Saturday. Fauci facing real accountability, a superhero movie proving people still want something to believe in, an election 40 minutes from my front door that most of the country will never hear about, and a Hall of Fame defensive lineman showing up to work out at an age when most men have already hung it up. Four completely different stories, but I want to show you the one trend or thread that runs through every single one of them, because this isn't this is the part of the show that actually mine um how can I say that I really want to give to you, okay? In the final parts of this. So every story we cover today is really about the same thing. That's accountability. Fauci is being asked to account for decisions made in the dark. Wisconsin is one vote away from deciding who's accountable for running this entire state, starting with a man who's already been accountable to us in Milwaukee County. Even Aaron Donald walking back into that building is putting himself back in front of people who get to judge whether he still got it or not. And here's what I want you to know for certain. In my own life, past every headline I ever read on this show, the only accountability that's ever actually changed me is the kind that I couldn't run from. Not the kind where I got to control the narrative, but the kind where I had to still sit still and let God show me exactly who I would become. So that he could start rebuilding who I was supposed to be. So if you are watching this and you are carrying something today, a mistake you haven't owned yet, a season you feel like you failed at, a version of yourself you are avoiding looking at directly, I want to encourage you the same way I had to encourage myself. Stop running the PR campaign on your own life. Sit still. Let it be seen. That's where the actual healing starts. And I promise you, faith has a way of meeting you exactly there, not one step before you're honest. And if this is your first time catching me here on the Urban News, I want you to know this isn't the only thing that I do. Here comes a shameless plug coming in. So my main show is called the Transform You Live Show. I've been doing that show for over 10 years. It's deeper. It's a lot more personal. It's faith-fueled, storytelling straight from my own life, and the lives of other people, that I interview on that particular podcast. Things I don't get to go into, in a fast-moving news show like this one. I want to challenge you to go find it. Go subscribe to that one too. Different show, same voice, same heart behind it. And before I let you go, if today's conversation gave you something at all, even just one idea you are going to sit with tonight. Do two things for me right now. I know I'm asking a lot. But one, subscribe to the Urban News Journal if you haven't already, because we are back live Monday breaking down whatever's happening then. Two, go follow us on every platform we are live on today. It's going to be in the description below because the clips from this exact conversation are going up all week, and I don't want you to miss them. And as I full stop here, I'm Marcus Hart. This has been the Urban News Journal. Stay accountable, stay rooted, and I will see you next time.